G'day camper. Today we're going to talk about the Eezi Awn Bat 270-degree awning. Just a reminder that no reviews on this channel are ever sponsored, and this is 100% entirely my opinion. Now this one's going to be for you if you're a solo camper, or you're camping as a duo, or even if you've got a small family. It's obviously going to go on the side of your four-wheel drive like this. You might also put it on your camper trailer and use it when you're camper trailer camping. So my reason for purchase was that I didn't like the massive size of the freestanding awnings that are on the market, and the more compact ones tended to need poles to come out and ropes, and that's just all too much hassle. But then I found this, quite compact, and I'd almost call it semi-freestanding, and we'll get into why in just a moment. But first, let's talk about some hard stats. The awning weighs 21 kilos. It's 2.3 meters long and 150 wide by 150 tall. Can be ordered to suit left or right hand of the vehicle, and it's made from 260 GSM ripstop canvas, which is a touch lighter than others, which are usually 280 GSM. It's got an aluminium frame, and it'll cost you 1,999 Australian dollars or 1,625 in the US. Eezi Awn are a South African company, and they have distributors all over the world. So as you approach it, the bag for the awning is still in really good nick, given it's been in the sun for most of its 4 years. The zipper can certify is a zipper. We've got 3 clip straps in here and a pole that I forgot I put there. We'll talk about that pole in a moment. And now up here is something I like. There's a bracket which kind of holds all of the arms. Lift it off and around we go. And then you got the strap, and that just has to go to the front of the car somewhere. In my case, it just goes onto a roof bar. Now you might already be able to see a bit of a thing here that I don't like, but we'll get back to that. So that's your basic setup done, and this is why I call it semi-freestanding, because you wouldn't trust that in too much more than a light breeze. If I grab an arm here, yeah, you get a fair bit of movement on, but it's pretty easy to just drop a leg down, and that just stops some of that movement a bit. Now I do love how the legs just tuck inside the aluminium channel here. It's really easy. There's a plastic clip in there that you generally push up, but the way I've always used it is just by unscrewing the little knob. It relieves a bit of pressure, push it that way, down comes the leg. Now down in the feet, you've actually got holes where you can bash a tent peg straight through, or just up in front of each leg, there's a little bar. You can put a guy rope around there, so if things are getting really hairy, you can just strap it straight down to the ground. Now personally, if I was watching a video review about an awning, I'd want to know if the water pools. And I don't get too much of a problem. Right along this lip here, you get a little bit, but it's not the sort of water pooling where it just builds and builds and the whole thing collapses in on itself. It tends to just drain itself off. And a way you can sort of try to avoid that is you just raise up the leg a bit further. And I guess that's a benefit of having a bit of flex in the frame. You push it up and now your water's just going to go off elsewhere. Depending on how your campsite's set up, you can raise and lower different legs to get the water to go where you want it to go.
Last night it rained a lot after I reviewed this awning. I got some water pooling last night. I think that my little awning wall mod may have had something to do with that. Well, this leg here I've put right up, so nothing pulled here, but because I have the awning all attached here and it's all pegged down and it was pouring rain, I couldn't push that arm up, and so I ended up with that.
Doing this has really exaggerated the thing that I have a problem with over on this corner. So in the very end pole, you don't get a leg, and that kind of makes sense because there's plenty of room to swing them down, but there's no room to swing one down here. The problem is, although I do have that one jacked right up and it's exaggerating the problem, is that it sags down quite a lot. And I have had it to the point where my camp's been quite uneven, a bit more weight that side, some of the legs were a certain way, and it actually catches on my barn door a bit. But I have a fix, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. Now for me, repairability is a huge thing. And for this awning, you can get most spare parts. Fresh bag, the legs, the brackets, the canvas I'm not too sure about, but it does just use sail track. So if you happen to do damage to a piece, I'm sure you could just go to a canvas specialist and say, make me up a triangle piece copy of this. So repairability, it gets the big tick. So with everything in mind that you've just heard, here is the list of things I love about this product. First of all, it's lighter than, I'd probably say 80% of awnings in the market. I did do a little bit of research, found a few key weights. Most 270 awnings are sort of that 27 plus. And it's a super easy one-person setup. Literally like 30 seconds to get the thing open and set up. Not too much longer to pack away. Another thing I love is its South African quality. Anything from South Africa generally tends to be top-notch stuff. And I do like that you can actually get a wall set for this. I'm not so into the wall set idea because it takes so long to set up and then it kind of locks your vehicle to a spot. But if you wanted it, the option is there. I do have a wall setup that I use, which I've kind of adapted myself. So hang around to the end of the video and I'll show you that with my tips and tricks. So here are my cons. It's that sag on the end arm. Again, I'll show you the fix in just a moment. And at least for us here in Australia, this is definitely one of the pricier 270-degree awnings. That wasn't the case in 2020 when I bought it. There weren't as many on the market, but you got a lot to choose from now, which has really driven down the prices. Of course, if you want something that is freestanding, you never have to put a pole down ever in your life, this isn't quite going to work for you. Sure, it's lightweight, that's a benefit for me, but if you really want that true freestanding, you're just not going to get it. Okay, it's time for some tips and hacks. And right up here is my little fix. Just a piece of angle iron that I cut and welded up. Take the end of the awning over there, sit it on. Now I'll show you the other cool little thing I did. Up here, you've got the little holes that Eezi Awn obviously use for their sidewall kit. And I just went to the camping shop to get a cheap spreader bar like this. You put a pin on each end. I did have to slightly drill out this hole and this one up here. And then you just fit that. I swear this was easier the other day. Now I've got a pole here. Drop down this leg for a bit of extra stability. And you can fit any old cheap awning sidewall on there. And you can do that for this section. You can do it for the next, as many times as you want. But for me, just having that one wall there for when the wind or the rain's coming in sideways, is really good for camping. Do you own the Eezi Awn Bat 270 yourself? If you do and you've got any tips or solutions, drop a comment down below to help anyone watching in the future, and I'll see you in the next review.